Hear my prayer, O Lord. Answer my plea, because you are faithful to your promises. Don't bring me to trial, for as compared with you, no one is perfect. My enemies chased and caught me, and have knocked me to the ground. They forced me to live in darkness like those in the grave. I'm losing all hope. I am paralyzed with fear. I remember the glorious miracles you did in the days of long ago. I reach out for you. I thirst for you as parched lands thirst for rain. Come quickly, Lord, and answer me, for my depression deepens. Don't turn away from me, or I shall die. Let me see your kindness to me in the morning, for I am trusting you. Show me where to walk, for my prayer is sincere. Save me from my enemies, O Lord. I run to you to hide me. Help me to do your will, for you are not only my God. Lead me in good paths, for your spirit is good. Lord, saving me will bring glory to your name. Bring me out of trouble, because you are true to your promises, and because you are loving and kind to me. Cut off all my enemies and destroy them that are trying to harm me, for I am your servant. Hi, I'm Claire, and I'm here to tell my faith story. I grew up in a bunch of different kinds of churches because my mom was a church musician. So I guess I grew up with going to Sunday school like a lot of folks did. My faith didn't really come alive until I started working at Lutheridge, and I found out that your faith could and should be part of your everyday existence, and also can be full of joy and a lot of silly things as well. So those folks that helped me with my faith through Lutheridge, are many of whom are still in my life, helped me to see my faith in a more personal way. As I got older and as I came up through high school and college, at some point I probably had the kind of faith where I said, Lord, help me pass this test. And then I would think, well, he's not going to change the answer to the capital of Egypt is Afghanistan. So that's not going to work. So I had to realize that, Lord, help me through this test, or help me through this period of my life, wasn't about him changing the things that were happening to me. It was about him changing the way that I see things and work through things, knowing that everything's going to be okay, no matter what happens. I know that I've, as most of you know, I've been through something in this past year that's kind of been an eye-opener. Up until about 2 years ago, I never took any medicine for anything. A couple of years ago, I had a problem with my eye, and got that all fixed up. And then I've had a couple other minor health problems, but right before Christmas of this year, I was diagnosed with breast cancer, and it shook me up pretty good. But I thought to myself, okay, well, here we are. Let's see what, how I handle this with God's help, and how my faith in God made me put my trust in him and in the doctors, and knowing that no matter what happened, that everything was going to be okay. About probably 3 weeks ago, I discovered that the cancer had moved into my spine. And so the doctor told me I had stage 4 breast cancer, which scared the heck out of me. And for about 3 days, I thought I was a goner, and I thought I was going to only live a couple more years. And then I started thinking, do you really believe what you say you believe? I believe in the resurrection of the dead and the life everlasting. Those are the kinds of things that I say I believe, and I think I believe. But in those few days when I thought things might be over, I was scared, and I was just, I kept saying to myself, you can be a person of faith and be scared at the same time. Thankfully, a few days after that, my oncologist told me that the kind of cancer that I have is estrogen based, and so they have a treatment for me, and that she said I'd be around for decades more, which was a huge relief. But it's interesting because I felt a great relief, and I felt very thankful. And several people said, don't you see that God is good? And all I could think about was my friend Tony Yunt. He's a Lutheran friend of mine, and we pick on each other mercilessly. He was diagnosed with stage 4 stomach cancer, and it's for him, it's terminal. So I kept thinking, how can they look at me and say God is good because you're going to be okay, and look at Tony, and what do you say to Tony? Is it God is not good? I don't think so. So I think that, I don't know, the thing I've been thinking about is that no matter what happens to us, and our point of view as humans is often the worst thing that can happen to you is that you can die. But from God's point of view, I don't think it's, not that I know God's point of view, but I don't think that that's the worst thing that can happen to you. If we do believe in life everlasting, the resurrection of the body and all that, those things that we say we believe, then even if something happens and you die, or someone you love dies, it's still going to be okay. God has us in the palm of his hand. And I think that for me, my faith keeps me sane in that way. Through whatever has happened in my life, the good and the bad, I've been able to say, okay, here I am. Now what do we do? And without getting too caught up in, oh, why me, and those kinds of things. I think faith is strongly linked with hope. Faith, hope, and love. These things, 3 things remain. And the other thing is, for me, hope and happiness kind of go together. And I don't mean happiness like you feel like jumping up and down and cheering and throwing a party. I just mean that feeling of well-being that you have if your faith is strong and you're content. I have a friend who is a recovering alcoholic, and also I think he's dyslexic, because he said he was reading his morning meditation, and he looked at a sentence in his book, and he read 3 times, happiness is a metal rabbit. And he kept thinking, what in the heck does that mean? Happiness is a metal rabbit. And finally he looked at it again, and he said, happiness is a mental habit. And I do believe that. I think your faith can be nurtured and can become part of the habit of your everyday life, just like happiness can be. You have to look for those things that are uplifting. You have to know, even when you're scared, even though from time to time we all say, wait a minute, this is not what I had in mind, that things are going to work out okay. St. Matthew's has been a huge part of my life in these last few years, and an overwhelming fount of friendship and faithfulness, especially since my diagnosis. It has been absolutely amazing to me how many people have surrounded me with love. And I want to thank you all for that. I hope that, I know that I will go through times, as we all will, where my faith is shaky. But I hope that I can always come back around to, everything's going to be okay. I was talking to my friend Tony, and he said, I have nothing to complain about. I've had a wonderful, full life. The only thing he regretted was not being able to see the Rocky Mountains again. So I think we're going to arrange for him to do that, even if we have to drive him out there. My faith helps me to be more positive when I don't really feel very positive. It helps me be thankful and to look for those things that God has graced me with. So I hope this was helpful. And I want to thank you all again for being such a comfort and to me over these last couple of months. So you all have been a blessing for me, and I thank you for that. All right, bye-bye.